Most things that people don't seem to get about ChatGPT, it's a prediction model, it's not a thinking model. ChatGPT predicts what you want to hear. It doesn't think and come up with an answer based on logic.
Is it now a must to be AI proficient for work? Somebody else start this one.
It's compulsory to learn AI for work now. Okay, now it's so compulsory for us to learn AI at work. At least that's what I feel now with so many AI tools.
Compulsory is a strong word, but I think, it depends on what industry you're working in. I think for PR and content, if you're not looking at AI, if you're not looking at the tools that are coming out, if you're not at least trying to learn and, check them out and see how these AI tools can help expedite the workflow, make you more efficient, I think then you're living under a rock and you're gonna get left behind. So personally speaking, I love exploring whatever new AI tool comes out and how we can use them. But I don't know if I would call myself proficient in AI. And I don't know if all of us need to be proficient in AI. But yes, we do need to be at least aware of the tools available. Like, are there any AI tools that you're using on a daily basis for the work that we do, like as a content and PR agency?
Have you guys heard of AI agents?
No.
Basically, they're AI services that use APIs, connections to different software and products online that are able to actually do actions. So, for example, you use ChatGPT by writing in a prompt and then it gives you a response. You copy paste, you do whatever you want, you take the information, right? Agents will actually say, for example, someone sends an email in, they'll be able to recognize the email for what it is, categorize it in the correct way, send notifications to could be Slack. I could activate a specific function in a CRM tool. It does stuff without you having to do anything. You just need to program the AI agent. So it's a AI, it's a literally a person who replaces people. So Salesforce is moving strong into this. Klarna, which is a buy now, pay later services, fintech service. I think they've replaced like a huge portion of their workforce with AI agents. They've from being basically losing money, and I think they're reaching profitability within 12 months. So AI agents are going to be the next big thing. They already are a big thing, but no one knows anything about them outside of technical folks, people who run big businesses, and AI people who shout, AI agents are great, right? No one seems to know anything about them. I'm looking at AI agents as a way to replace everything in the company. No. So we can't do it from a creative standpoint. It's actually quite hard. I've been looking at it and it's impossible. So,
Is that why you've been looking at you've been looking at like Sora and HeyGen lately?
No, so that's really content creation. AI agents mostly don't go into content creation, they go into more administrative tasks. So, for example, if we need to say from a new business standpoint, every time I get an email that has certain phrases or specific things, you can push it into a funnel that allows me to track the sales process. So it responds immediately. It's all the details into a file. I can access that file. It tells me what the response was, tells me when it's going to respond, and then I can see everything that goes there. You can handle the entire first part of the validation of a lead without me lifting a finger. I wouldn't even know that lead came in most of it, right? That's one aspect. That's just a simple way of using an AI agent. Because the AI agent could be a lot more. It could literally send out new business emails for me. It could scour, it could literally say, I'll find you 50 potential contacts. Here's a breakdown of what they are. Are you comfortable with these people? I'll say yes. Then it'll go develop emails, send out these emails, follow up constantly until we get responses. Once you get responses, it'll start pushing them into a CRM for me. I don't have to do anything. I just have to approve something once in a while, right? And they work 24/7. So you already see aspects of AI agents, which are like customer service chatbots.
Yeah.
They're there all the time. They're a form of AI agent, the simplest form of AI agent there is right now, because they can't do that much. But they can push you to the right documentation. They can push you to the right function, but they're not very smart. They're very smart AI agents right now.
Yeah. So that's why it's compulsory to learn about AI. At least be proficient in AI, or else you're gonna be replaced.
Well, I would say no, right? Like you should know AI for sure, but why don't you just be really good at your damn job? If you're really good at your damn job, people are going to want to hire you regardless of if there's an AI person who can AI tool that can do your job to an extent. Top tier writers, top tier videographers, top tier actors, all these people, right? They're not getting replaced by AI. They know that. The best engineer in a company is not going to get replaced. Is he going now? All his junior developers are getting kicked out, but they're still the developer. No software company is kicking out 100% of developers. They're kicking out 60%. Because they're like, see, you guys suck. I can get 10 AI agents who'll do the same work, but it'll be corrected by the 40% who are good. And they'll do the more intricate tasks.
That's what I was gonna say. So if you look at ChatGPT, for example. So even if you want it to help you out, come up with outlines or come up with ideas for social media captions or whatever, how good and accurate your prompt is. That's what determines how accurate the response from GPT is going to be. How are you using it? I mean, for anybody in the content field or in the PR, just going blindly and typing in a prompt and getting, whatever they get and just simply copy pasting, they are going to get eliminated because that's not how it's going to work. Nobody is that stupid. Your clients are not that stupid. Bosses are not that stupid. Anybody who's reviewing your stuff is not that stupid. There's a reason why it's been put there, right? But then, so for example, I came up with like a 7-page document, ideas, timeline, everything. I wanted to be arranged into a table. Before GPT, I would insert table and then put everything, plonk everything into the table. Now what I do is I copy.
Can I tell a funny story about Surabi and tables? I once saw her use a Google Sheet document where she copied and pasted individual fields into another document one by one. And I said, why didn't you just copy the entire thing? Don't know. She was copying it one by one. And I looked at her and I was like, is this why you're busy? Doing one by one by one. There were about 50 or 60 things. It would have taken 15 seconds. It took her 45 minutes.
I've been in the company for 6 years. I was a baby when I joined. And yes, I was stupid. I didn't know. Anyway, going on from that. So now I use ChatGPT. I just copy paste what I've come up with and I tell it, can you give me like 5 columns titled these many rows, and just plonk all this text.
Let me go off on a tangent for a second because that really bugged me remembering that part. Do you think that most people are, it's a true question because sometimes we're inefficient, right? Do you think that most people are busy or most people are just highly inefficient?
Highly inefficient. A lot of people are highly
That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now when I look back
But
at it, I was like,
okay, I think my role as a boss is to give you guys tools in order to do your job the best.
Yeah.
But I don't think my role as a boss is to teach you how to use Google Sheets or how to do something that should be. By the way, this is not a knock on you guys, right? It's not specifically a knock on you guys, right? So sometimes, but I'm just saying that because I'm just wondering where the blame goes. Because if you look at how people are, if you look at what the workplace TikTok or social media trend is now, it's for people saying that they're so busy and they're not making money and stuff like that, and how businesses and business owners are bullying the little guy, right? And that's every time they're like, "Oh, I won't work extra minute because you're not paying me." If everybody was 80% efficient, you get your work done within the 8 hours. We're not just as humans. We're not efficient. I'm fine with that.
I'm not saying that.
Well, no, so I'm thinking I'm not gonna shit on Gen Z because it is what it is, right? I'm just talking in general because this conversation has been going on my whole career, right? I'm not Gen Z. We were talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
We just spoke about it privately in a meeting room, cried a little bit, and went back to work, which is what I expected everybody to do. Crying at work was normal. It's not good. It's actually really bad, but was normal as shit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why when people cry, I feel nothing. I'm just like, see it.
Wow.
Right?
I saw a video today for this podcast, right? And it's an Indian actor who's talking about how working in the industry or having a job where you're doing something that you want to do is in itself a privilege and how we shouldn't cry about. So, for example, especially for people who are in the PR industry or any creative industry where you're creating content and you're doing stuff I'm assuming that you like doing what you do, that's why you're in this industry, then I feel like we don't recognize the privilege in that at least we are doing what we love to do. Because and this actor he gave a very good example of, for example, somebody who runs a family with like 3 kids and a wife and a mom to feed, and they're working as a security guard, winter, rain or summer or whatever, they're just sitting at their job and doing the job and earning really less money and trying to run a household. If that person cries, oh, it's really hard, it makes sense. But for people like actors, he himself is an actor, so he was talking about the acting industry and kind of resonated with me as well. People like us who, are in the creative industry, we get to explore ideas, come up with ideas, and we have this stimulus. We're working on things that we enjoy working on. Then at least we should recognize the privilege and we should not complain about, oh, how hard it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you all should be paying me.
That's one way to look at it. But
and
what do you guys
takeaway?
That's my takeaway for a lot of things in life. No, it's fair enough. I mean, I struggle to take reality checks from actors and like multi-millionaire sports stars or business owners who have never went to a supermarket for like 20 years. It's hard to take a reality check.
Yeah, no, but this guy is a very, very good actor who's been a character actor for years in Bollywood. So, Shreya, what are some AI tools that you use like in your day to day?
Chat GPT, but it's really just for like, you know, like in PR, sometimes they come out with angles and stuff. So it's not to come out with angles, but more of like to kickstart the ideation. That's why you have to say in front of tongue. Yes.
Can you come up with 5 angles for this company?
Like sometimes you look and then you're like a creative block, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of chat GPT, and then the angles that they gave are like really dead.
Yeah.
So you can't really rely on those angles because you look at it and you're like, no way it's Singapore's media is gonna pick this.
Okay, confession. So sometimes I've been coming up with ideas for my Shell Collective for as long as I've been in the company, right? And for Tech Collective, it's easier for me to come up with ideas. And I've got Shanna helping me. And on and off, I've got like people helping me from the last 1 or 2 years. Despite that, it's easier because most of our clients are like tech startups and stuff. And because I also write for the tech industry. So it's easier for me. I'm generally at least remotely aware of what's going on and, what's trending and what's the big news that's coming. So it's easier for me. But for Lifestyle Collective, I don't consume that kind of content a lot. So it becomes tricky for me. And then I go to ChatGPT. I think I may have gone to ChatGPT maybe 10 times in the last 8 months or 9 months or so. Hey, can you suggest da, da, da? And then every single time, GPT gives me like the same three topics. And then that becomes my trigger point of this is not gonna work. We've already done something like this. And then it's like, so that's what I'm talking about. This whole worry about getting replaced by AI. We are never gonna get replaced by AI. Because GPT doesn't know what are the ideas that we already have.
There are two. I feel like there are two reasons.
That's
One,
also not true. They does know what you've asked for.
I feel like
No, but the thing is that it doesn't have enough context. And the time that I
That's an issue with
I want to say that like there might be two reasons for that, and number one would be like it's the way you prompt.
yeah.
Let me finish. That's what I'm trying
Wait,
to
wait,
say.
and then the second one would be if we're using like the free model, because obviously like, a lot of
Yeah.
the AI models
Free model
now
has no
are-
memory.
Yeah, they have a paywall thing, so they have a memory. Our current chat GPT that we use is the free one, so there's like a certain limit that they have, right? And then like the current one only uses data up to 2022. They don't use like very recent data because if you want to use that, you have to pay
4.0.
yeah 0.0 mini, you know, like all the newer
Yeah,
ones.
so but then for me, then it just becomes a matter. I find that easier than prompting like a 2 paragraph thing. So this is something that we've already covered. How do I tell GPT?
But hold on. But don't you think then that's an efficiency issue, right?
Yeah, they
Because
can do that.
Yeah.
not even that. You can literally use the same prompt, reopen it, and it'll have a list of everything.
Yeah,
And
that's the
you-
new feature that they have
No,
now.
so even the old feature had the same thing. It would save the chat, but when it's searching, it wouldn't have the memory unless you're using the same chat.
The
So
memory
you can
thing.
just use the same chat. Secondly, the fact that you think it's quicker to come up and develop the ideas yourself versus spending 10 minutes on a prompt is a bit weird because that's not efficient. I promise you spend more than 10 minutes, you come up with solid ideas on what it is because you got to bullet point it out and stuff like that. 10 minutes on a prompt will give you, I would say you're about 85% there, and you just spend 10, like a minute or two buffing up the ideas for each idea.
Mm.
That's how it kind of works. That's what I would do if I was using something.
I have found that if I'm being very specific, so sometimes it's like I want to come up with an idea that's relevant and that talks about TikTok trends that are been viral in the last few months. So like if my prompt is like very, very specific, so then it gives me like relevant ideas that sometimes I've used. And then I kind
Yeah.
of just build on that conversation that I don't like this, but do you have something? This is my target audience. Da, 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 da,
So
da,
why
da.
don't you try using, if you're not using to develop the content and using for ideation, why don't you try Gemini on the Google?
I haven't
Gemini
tried Gemini.
Gemini uses up to date content and it's free.
Yeah, I think
Have you tried Gemini?
a bit, but not really. I use Copilot as well, the one
I
from
hate Copilot so
Microsoft.
much.
The problem is that when you have, because I only use the free one, so it's only up to like 30 prompts if I'm not wrong.
Oh, do you guys use Deep Brain? I think I sent the link to Deep
No,
Brain.
haven't yet.
It's comparable to the paid version of ChatGPT. It's
Is it?
comparable. It's not as good. It's comparable. But okay, if my simple thing is, if you are going to use like chat-based LLMs, right? And like you want to like access stuff like ChatGPT stuff like that, you have to know the prompt. And sometimes the prompt
Yeah.
is just you could just have a really bullshit ass prompt. Hi, give me 5 ideas on how to write about things to do in summer, right? In Singapore. Then you can just refine that prompt. Like just say basically saying focus on activities that are family centric. Look for activities happening in the CBD or the main areas, the areas. Then you add on to that one. Then you say, oh hey, didn't do this. Because every time you're going to get the information redone and it's going to take you 5 minutes of doing about 4 different upgrades to the prompt. So if you can't do it one at a time because you don't know, I gotta see what they create and then we can do it. Do it that way. It actually works pretty decently well. Your final thing would be pretty decent.
One of the things that I've seen before on like I think it was like a YouTube short video, because I don't use TikTok as much, was that how this guy suggested
Contrarian, as we call it.
how this guys suggested prompting is that you give them an idea, and then before they start, because when you just give a prompt, ChatGPT usually executes it immediately, right? But if you end your prompt with like "don't start yet," repeat what you understand so far, you get an idea of what they're going to be generating, and then you add more information as you go along. And then by the end, when they have all the points that you're looking for, then you say, okay, let's start with the draft.
I think DeepBrain does that. So
Yeah.
DeepBrain gives you the reasoning behind the prompt, behind the content that they make. So you'll have an entire long thing on the reasoning, then they'll start the prompt. So it'll tell you what it's thinking, why it's going there, and then you can change that part of it. if you want to.
So it's basically what I do with ChatGPT, but it's just that it does it instantly, but I do the prompting along the way.
So the most things that people don't seem to get about ChatGPT, it's a prediction model. It's not a thinking model. Thinking models are different from prediction models. ChatGPT predicts what you want to hear. It doesn't think and come up with an answer based on logic. So you have to, when you prompt it, you got to be very smart on how you prompt it, so that it doesn't have to predict too much, and it can take the information and use it. That's why if you say, "Tell me the best things about living in a house," they're just gonna give you some random things based on what they hope is the right answer. It's not going to give you the real thing behind your thought process.
But ChatGPT uses like website stuff, right? Like
Yeah, you can ask it to put
SEOs.
references and stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use like ChatGPT for like ideation, I feel like it's one way that always like generated AI when it comes to like understanding what our clients do as well. But we really just like just want to understand.
Oh, Google, is it Notebook? I forget the name. It's a research tool. I think I
Google Scholar?
No, Google Note LM, I think. I sent it to you guys. It basically it breaks everything down into reports for you.
Yeah.
That you can actually use. For example, if you don't understand a client, I put in the website, put in any information I have, and it rips all the information and then displays it for you in what you want to do.
What's the name?
I'll send you guys the link later. I'll put it in the caption as well. And what it does is it actually converts that into a natural language podcast. So if you, for example, you can't be bothered reading a 3-page report, there'll just be 2 people having an actual conversation where say, "Hey, did you read about this and this? Oh yeah, that's really interesting. What does it do?" And they'll like read through it, and like it won't read the report; it'll have a conversation about the report. So then you just listen to it for about 3 to 5 minutes, and people absorb better that way because they realize people absorb either reading or the audio. So it's kind of an interesting way of looking at it.
So, like, final question: is AI compulsory for everybody today working or looking to work in the PR and content industry? What do you think?
I still stand by the fact that you have to be proficient in AI.
And I think the key was you need to be proficient in AI, not that you need to pretend to be proficient in AI. That's specifically targeted at certain people in the company.
Okay.